story Star Witness is an undebatable story. Why? Because if you was to ask the so-called scholars, where's their God? They will say their God is in heaven. While Star would say his God is a living God who became king and is hiding his face from a wicked generation. But he will reveal himself when the Russian army enters Ethiopia in an attempt to take away gold and silver. It's also a story about his angel son, whom was born on Ethiopian Christmas Day in 1972. Therefore, he was born a prince. So if you was to ask the so-called scholars, was Jesus father a king when he was born? And if he was, why was he born in a manger and not in a palace? Because once Selassie was asked about Christ, so he said, who? The one born in a manger or the one who was born in a palace? Anyway, know the scriptures. So let's watch.
Debated. That's a high-level scholar, known Muslim. Who have you debated? That's a high-level scholar, known Muslim debater.
That's hard to say. It would. I think that would be my first debate with Shibrali. I think that's the only.
Right? So both of them. He believes in a white Jesus. So if you ask him where's white Jesus, he's going to say in heaven. And if you ask a Muslim where's Allah, he's going to say up in the sky. Hello?
Change. They try to take a verse here and there out of context. And once you read the context, it'll either refer to the misinterpretation of the text or a particular group in a particular area, but not the entire community itself. So one side debate that. Anytime they attack the Bible, I go, oh, so you agree Muhammad is wrong. Why? He said my Bible is not changed. You said it is, so that means he's wrong. So are you going to renounce Muhammad? See, this is how you have to do it. But then they'll come back and say, if they say, well, no, the Bible's right. Well, Muhammad is wrong again. Because my Bible says that what the Quran says about Jesus is wrong.
They both saying what's wrong about Jesus. For one, Jesus is not from the tribe of Judah. Jesus is the son of Josedek, also known as Joseph. So let's read. And to Joshua, the son of Jehozadak, the high priest. Jesus, the son of Josedek. In other words, Jesus is Joshua. And Josedek is the son of Sarias. That's one of God's many names. One of God also many names is David. So they're from of the house of David, out of the kindred of Phares of the tribe of Judah. In other words, Jesus is the cousin to Judah's son Phares, also known as Perez. So how could Jesus be cousins to Judah's son and be from the tribe of Judah at the same time? In other words, Jesus from the tribe of Joseph. So let's watch. Who is Joseph? Now Israel, who is Jacob, loved Joseph more than all his children, including Judah. So Jesus is the grandson of God himself, or is the grandson of Israel. But according to these guys, they keep changing up the stories. Why? Because they added in stuff. So who did that?
The Ethiopian church took all of this literature, which included literature that nobody considered scripture at the time, and they appear to have just been non-discretionary and included everything.
Right? Because the Ethiopian church was annexed to the Vatican. So the Vatican added in original Greek and original Hebrew. That's why Haile Selassie said this. In 1962, a new Amharic translation from Ge'ez was printed. In other words, the original Bible was written in Ge'ez. Why? Because realizing that there ought to be a revision from the original Hebrew and Greek and the existing translation of the Bible. In other words, the church added in original Greek and original Hebrew and then added in, made it up 81 books. But Haile Selassie made it 72 books. So you have 66 from the canon, plus 5 books, plus the book of Enoch, which adds up to 72. And it tells you that Jesus is the son of Josedek. So was Jesus the son of Josedek, who in their time built a house and set up a holy temple to the Lord, which was prepared for an everlasting glory. In other words, it's supposed to be here now at the end of times during Revelation. So that's why it says Joseph is Josedek. Neither was there a young man born like Joseph, also known as Josedek, a governor of his brethren, a stay of the people, whose bones were regarded of the Lord. In other words, Joseph is Christ himself. Part 2 coming up.